Today, let us take some time to study the Word of God together. Today, the Church of God keeps the Sabbath and the Passover of the New Covenant, that is, all the laws of Christ, which are the holy commandments of God. Only those who keep the commandments of God are destined to know God. Let us take a look at the book of 1 John chapter 2. Chapter 2, verse 3. We know that we have come to know who? Know Him if we obey His commands. For those who keep God's commands, God made every path of the truth to lead them to know Him. Let us take a look at chapter 2, verse 3 again. We know that we have come to know Him if we obey His commands, meaning God's commands. The man who says, I know Him, but does not do what He commands is a liar. And the truth is it in him or not? Not in him. It means that there is no truth in them. Let us take a look at verse 5. It reads, But if anyone obeys His word, God's love is truly made complete in him. This is how we know we are in Him. Whoever claims to live in Him must walk as Jesus did. Did Jesus keep the commandments of man, or did He keep the commandments of God? 2,000 years ago, when God came to the earth in the flesh, what kind of path did He guide us to? When we take a closer look, He guided us to keep the commands of God, which are the new covenant. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 4, He kept the Sabbath day. In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 26, He kept the Passover. In the Gospel of John, chapter 7, He kept the Feast of Tabernacles. All the disciples who received the teachings from Jesus kept the Pentecost in the book of Acts, chapter 2. Christ lived a life of following all the new covenant feasts. It is described in the book of 1 John, chapter 2, verse 3. We know that we have come to know Him if we obey His commands. Let's open to the book of Galatians, chapter 3, to see how Apostle Paul explained the relationship between knowing God and His commandments. Chapter 3, verse 23. Before this faith came, we were held prisoners by the law, locked up until faith should be revealed. So the law was put in charge to lead us to Christ, that we might be justified by faith. Who are the laws definitely leading us to? In other words, they are our guide leading us to recognize God. Isn't this why God allowed us His commands so that we can recognize God? Considering all that has been mentioned, can there be a knowledge to recognize God where God's commandments are not kept? The Bible testifies that there is absolutely no way. Let us diligently preach God's commands that have been given to us. I hope everyone has received much grace through this sermon today. Thank you very much.